Another day, another dollar. You know how I grind. It's another episode of the Easy Corner. My guest, one of the most prolific dual sport athletes, not only in the city of Houston, but in the state of Texas, a reigning district MVP in basketball, even more than a better athlete, even a better person. I got newly George Ranch high school quarterback, guard and forward for basketball, Mr. Brody Thornton. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing great, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know we've been waiting for this for a long
Yeah,
time.
been a
Like
long
we've been
time
talking
coming.
about this probably for like 6 months. So the one thing I want to kind of just give you your flowers. Appreciate you coming on my show. I know just like how you're a big fan of my show, I'm a big fan of you. And at the end of the day, like every time asking about you, you seem like even a better person than better athlete. So I guess the first question I want to kind of, where does that come from? The human side of you.
Um, it's just my upbringing. I think it's just like growing up. I have a sister and a brother, and my brother mainly just pays away for me and my sister, and it's just big kudos to him for just always um being that figure in my life to like show me the path in life and show me how to handle things.
Man, talk about your family because, like you said, your brother and your sister, but obviously we know about pops. We don't know too much about mom. Just talk about, the importance of family and how it is where you are today.
Yeah, family. I'm a very family oriented kid, and family is like my everything, And having my sister, it's like my best friend, and my dad. He's a good man,
Yeah.
and he just he's just that guy, and just he just shows he's like the man of the household. He just shows everybody in the house like even if he's wrong, he knows he's wrong, and he just shows everybody where to be and things like that.
Athletics, obviously basketball and football.
Yeah.
We don't really kind of get that a lot these days. Usually everybody's focused on one. I see that you're not only on the AAU circuits, but I know you're going out there preparing for a high school football season. Just talk about the mental grind of being a dual sport athlete because nowadays people are just sticking to one sport while you've been doing this almost all your life.
Yeah, man, it's for sure a grind, and day in and day out, it's just like football season. I want to go play football, and but still in the back of my mind, I got basketball. I got to worry about basketball, so it's just like it's a grind for sure. But I've been doing it all my life, so it's just like why stop now? I'm gonna keep doing it, and whenever that time comes where I have to choose one, then I'll choose one. If I could play both in college, then I'll play both.
Just talk about you kind of showing a non-fearless attitude because when at a time that obviously I'm gonna knock on wood because I don't want it to happen to you. We've seen three guys in the NBA tear their Achilles, and you obviously are playing a sport in football and basketball where there is injuries that could happen. What's your mentality knowing that you're kind of blessed that you haven't really suffered a major injury to still do both and do both at a high level?
It's just like it's in God's hands at the end of the day. It's just like I'm gonna keep working. I'm not gonna be fearless of a injury that could change things. It's just like in God's hands. Whatever happens at the end of the day, I think whether you play one sport or you play two sports, an injury can happen either way. So I just think it's all in God's hands.
Talk about your journey in athletics. When did it start for you? So we're going to kind of just start with football. When you touched the football, when did the journey of that happen for you?
Well, I say it all started in maybe when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I started with this league called Gridiron, and I played for George Ranch. That's why it's so significant. I can go to George Ranch High School now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started with Gridiron in George Ranch, played for that maybe 4 or 5 years, had a good experience with that, and I was like, yeah, I want to keep playing this sport.
Yeah.
And so my dad played football in college, quarterback also, and he ended up being able to go to college for that, and just seeing him being able to do that, and my brother playing football too, so I was just like, I might as well play football too, and I just kept playing football, and ended up going to Lamar Consolidated, and then Bush.
One of the things I want to tell you, your comeback picture, like you're coming home when you announced the George Ranch, the throwback George Ranch jersey to say, hey, like your Little League George Ranch jersey, coming back to the crib. How much does it mean to you that you're back home? A lot of people, obviously we know what your resume was at Bush, football and basketball wise, but to know that this is your senior season and you're back home where you're kind of familiar with where you grew up, where it made you today, how does that feel?
Man, it feels great. Deciding to leave Bush was it was no decision, because it was just like that's just the right thing to do at with everything that happened and things like that. But as soon as we was think about where we was gonna go, and the thought process of George Ranch got in my head, I was like, Dad, what we think about George Ranch? And he was second guessing it for a little bit, but I was just like, I think that's just like where home is at. And just like I grew up there, I grew up on that campus, and we were playing on those fields and stuff like that. And I know people there, and I know they'll welcome me like family. So I was just like, yeah, I think that's where I want to end up playing ball my senior year.
We talk about Little League. Now, I want to kind of really transition into middle school because true story, I was actually at your last middle school game. Yeah. The day that y'all play. And it's kind of funny enough that Mike is your teammate now for Pro 16 and Kuz Elite. So obviously one of my best friends, the JV coach, Jonathan Hamilton at Elkins, was your middle school basketball coach.
Yes, sir.
He told me a story where he kind of challenged you, like you were more than just a big, you were a guard. Like I said, he basically told me like, easy, Brody had to know, like he has to do everything for us to be in contention and for us to win games. Brody, you're just gonna have to be better than everybody else, and this is what you did. At that point, I know Hamilton. I've been knowing him since 7th grade, so like he's one of my best friends in the world. Just talked to him this morning. A coach like that to challenge you, how did that still resonate with you to this day?
Man, Coach Hamilton, he's one of the best coaches that's been in my life, and I thank him for that, like on here, and I thank him for that just talking to him personally. And it's just like he still hits me up almost every week, since I've left Lamar, and he just still tells me like keep going, and like no matter what happens, no matter the outcome, you just gotta keep working, put your head down and work. And those days at Lamar, man, he was nobody expected us to be in that championship game, because I don't know even the last time Lamar saw they made it to a basketball or football championship game. There's not a lot of guys that come through there, but just going to that school, being zoned to that school at an early age, and meeting him was a blessing.
Are you surprised at his like success as a JV coach, knowing that you played for him when everybody knows that like you were getting the ball and for him to put you in position? So are you kind of surprised at the position that he's in, doing so well as a JV coach, which I know that he'll be a head coach one day?
Yeah, for sure. And no, I'm not really surprised, because it just felt like he always had that pedigree of like he's just a winner, you know. He's anything he does is he's gonna win, and like just like he at Lamar Consolidated in my middle school days, we would have like just open runs, and he would just come in there and just like get buckets, you know, like he would just get buckets in there, and it was always challenging playing against him in open runs and things like that, and he just always knew how to like connect with the kids, and so I just knew like he's gonna get that JV. Whenever he gets that JV head, coaching spot at Elkins, he's not gonna know how to connect with those kids. Because I remember he telling us that's where he graduated from.
Yeah. So basketball. We kind of want to transition into that because we're gonna get back to football. Because trust me, I got the questions for George Ranch, but basketball, obviously, when did you kind of start that, like knowing like who you are as a basketball player?
So I started playing basketball whenever I started playing football, and I started in a league called SYBA in Stafford.
And
that's one of the best leagues, like I think in the area.
Yeah.
And, so many guys have came out of there.
Yeah.
But growing up, I really did I like football like a lot more than basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more later on in life, I was just like, okay, I'm pretty good at this at this basketball thing.
Yeah.
And so just seventh, eighth grade, leading our team to the championship game. In eighth grade was just like, yeah, okay, I think I'm gonna be one of them ones in basketball. And so just kept grinding with basketball and just ended up where I am right now.
Brody, the one thing that I'm going to give you credit for, like as much as you're in football,
Yeah.
and I could tell like the passion you have for football, excuse my language, you really don't miss shit when it comes to basketball. Like if there's a basketball game you need to play in, you're going to play.
Yeah.
Just talk about what that does for you, because a lot lately, like I even asking you the other day, last week at the U of H camp, who you playing with, Kuz or George Rage? That easy. You know I'm playing with George Rage.
Yeah.
So just talk about, I just feel like there's a different side of you when it comes to basketball.
Yeah, man. On that basketball court, it gets scary on that basketball court. And yeah, cause like George Ranch, I remember last year at Bush, our last regular season game, because we didn't make playoffs. Our last regular season game was on the same day as our season opener. So I was like, man, how do I make it to both? How can I like play in both? But it just never worked like that. So I had to play that last football game and miss the season opener. Luckily, we won that game, but it sucked missing that game for sure.
Because you knew that if that game was on a Friday and the season opens on a Saturday, you would have played them both.
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
talk about I want to say for football, you go to Bush, and we all know about the great human Coach Aldridge was. And obviously tragedy struck with you guys not having him this year because he passed away.
Yes, sir.
It's a guy that you've been knowing since you were little, because I said I know your pops was at Bush for a very long time.
Yeah.
Is it 21 years that he was at
Yes, sir,
Bush?
yes, sir.
21 years at Bush, knowing that time was spent with Coach Aldridge. So you've been knowing him essentially all your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you just talk about the man that he was?
Man, Coach Alders, dog. He was just a staple in that building, a staple in the Fort Bend district as a whole. And just growing up, every time I was up there, I was at summer conditioning camp since I started playing, and he was just always in there. His big loud voice, dog.
Yeah.
He was always a presence for everybody. If you didn't go to Bush, and you came and you've been like at Bush one or two times, you know, okay, that's Coach Aldridge. Yeah, I know Coach Aldridge. And he was just a big, passionate guy and always just loved on the kids. Was a father figure for a lot of kids at that school, and it just sucked the way he passed away.
Talk about, obviously they're building a new elementary school in his name.
Yes, sir.
To know that honor for Fort Bend to name an elementary school after him. What does that tell you, the man that he is, knowing that he's getting that prestigious honor? Because we know, just hearing the stories, it's just like more. Coach Aldridge was more than football.
Yeah, he was definitely bigger than football, as everybody knew, and making that building that elementary school and naming it after him just shows like the man he is, and like that's what they wanted to do because of the man he showed everybody that he is, and just a great man, to say the least.
That was beautiful, man. I appreciate that, because like at the end of the day, like he's not here today, but like I can say that the guys that I talked to, from Coach Gay to all the other guys in the Bush building, talking to one of my mentors that work at Kempner now, because he was a principal at Bush.
Yeah.
He said that he was just more than that, but just kind of transitioning. Kuz Elite.
Yeah.
You know, when I think of Coos Elite, obviously I think of the leadership under the great PJ Cousinard, Wichita State basketball assistant coach. Congratulations, P.
Yes,
we
sir.
will have you on the show soon when you get back to the HP. We will have you on the show. But obviously, you know, Clay, Coach Clay and those guys, when I think of Kuz Elite, I think of grittiness. And, you know, I was there in the beginning, all these great Coos Elite teams. Obviously,
sir.
your 16U team is one of the best teams in the country, led by Rafer and Lil Skip.
Yes, sir.
But just talk about Coos Elite and that organization, that great organization.
Yes, sir. So I started playing with Kuz Elite and practicing with Kuz Elite my 15U season, but I was still with Next Generation. That was who my dad was coaching with. He was the head coach for that team, and I was 50-50 with Kuz Elite and Next Generation because Next Generation, it was like, in a sense, it was my show. I was getting all the shots. I was getting everything. But Kuz Elite, it's more of a platform. You know, it's they put you on that stage, and you're gonna be on that stage when you play with Kuz Elite. But so 16U year, I had to make a decision: do I want to stay with Next Gen or want to go with Kuz Elite? And so I just made that decision. I'm gonna just go Kuz Elite because I want to be on that platform. And so we had a pretty good year, 16U. We went to Elite 8, but lost to Southern Tide's team out of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And this year it's going pretty well. Just playing with those guys and playing with those coaches, like all the alumni they bring in the gym, it just shows like that this organization is a pretty good organization because it just shows like Jalen Waddle's
Reuben Jones,
Jones.
Jahari Laws.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk about that's a wise decision, and you saying that you are willing to give up the show to be a part of something even greater. Talk about that decision because most guys are not trying to give up 20 for 15 or 12. Talk about going into that decision, especially as a young guy. Where does that decision-making skills come from?
I would say it was a long talk late at night talking with my family about that decision. And you can even ask Coach Clay. We called Coach Clay a few times about the decision. He was telling us like, we're gonna be on that platform. If he wants to play on that platform, this is where he needs to be. And he was right, because that platform playing up with Pro 16, all them coaches on the baseline, it's not a feeling different than that. And it just it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Talk about your teammates. Obviously, you got Anthony Alvarez down there, Mike down there, and transferred to Katie Jordan from Foster. So just talk about your teammates in this team, because I think like this 17U Kuz Elite team, I think it kind of flies under the radar because obviously you got one of the best 16U teams in the country, like I said, and then all of a sudden like we know the resume of Kuz Elite. So just talk about your 17U team this year.
Just you named some of the guys: Anthony Avalos, Mike Swanigan, Katie Jordan, and a few legacy guys: Muhammad Nadal, Carlos Odeja, Steven, Altrell Manning, Trey Pinkert.
Yeah,
just guys like that. Man, we have a pretty good team, and I think, like you said, people fly us on the radar because how good our 16U team was. 16U team is actually, but I think. Come July, we're gonna make a good push in the Pro 16 league and make it to one of the final teams.
What's your goal this summer? Because obviously, like I think people, especially your position, is all about July and trying to get the scholarships. But I think what I tell kids is y'all still gotta win.
Yeah,
like y'all still gotta win. So what are your goals in July?
Obviously, get some of those scholarships that I've been winning, and but like you said, just winning, because whenever we win, we're gonna be on that platform. So winning games, these college coaches are gonna recruit winners. So winning those games will be big. Just like our 17U last year, they made it pretty far, and they made it pretty far in the Pro 16 league. So, and a lot of those guys went D1, and if not all of those guys went D1. So just like winning games is a big part of your college resume.
I have a quote here from Coach Gay. I told him Brody Thornton is coming on the show today, so I said, Gay is my guy, Coach Brandon Gay.
Yes,
new coach at Shadow Creek, former coach at Bush. I told him, it's quite simple, tell me something good. He said, I've been knowing Brody since a kid, coming up to the school with his dad and brother. He's easily one of the best players I've ever coached, and I always appreciate him for being who he is.
Yeah,
When
that's my guy.
that's a statement from Coach Brandon Gay, new coach at Shadow Creek, former Bush coach. When the statement comes from a guy like him, a guy that is really fights for his kids, a guy that really doesn't really get the just due in the city as a basketball coach. Kind of talk about him and what he's done for you, not just only on the court, but for you personally. Talk about it.
Yeah, as many may know, Bush was a home for me since I was growing up, and it started with Coach Courtney.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great. Yes.
Coach Courtney. Growing up, it was Coach Courtney and some other guys in the building, and then as the years went on, it was Coach Gay, and just Coach Gay, man, he's a great guy. Playing with him, playing as under him, and I think he should be getting more flowers than he is, because like nobody, I don't think anybody with our last year's team expected us, because we lost a few guys. I don't think anybody expected us to be as good as we were, making it 2 rounds deep in the playoffs, and I think we should have really went through at least another round. But yeah, he coached us up pretty well, and without him as our head coach last year, I don't think we would have been in the position we were in.
District MVP, when everybody could have said, and even me, I'm guilty for it, to say that it was almost a 2-man race between Cameron Newsom and Dorian Hayes. And now we're looking at the district MVP in Fort Bend as your last outing in Fort Bend. You walk away with the district MVP. Was it any shock? Was you surprised? Like, when did you kind of know, like, I'm just as good as advertised?
Yeah. It was a little shocking just because we didn't beat Travis. We didn't beat Ridgepoint, but I knew how good I was, so it wasn't necessarily that shocking. But beating the Clements and Aziz was a big win, and I think I averaged 16 or 17 points this season. So I just knew there's a chance I'm gonna get this MVP award, and I just gotta keep pushing. And good thing I got it.
Knowing that you won that award off a coach's vote, coaches are recognizing you are valuable in this district, and we're gonna reward you as being the best player in this district.
Yes, sir.
What does that say about the coaches at Fort Bend knowing the work that you put in this year? Even though, like you said, you might have came up short against Travis, but that doesn't mean you didn't play hard against everybody. Yeah. What does that say?
Man.
Or my fault. Let me correct myself. Why did they get it right?
I think they got it right just because, my sophomore year, I believe I should have got newcomer of the year, but I ended up I got first team all district my sophomore year, but I wanted that newcomer of the newcomer of the year award.
Who won it that year?
Keisha from Clements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's besides the point. But I just think Coach Bronson, he's a good coach too.
Yeah.
Because that game plan that they had on me, my junior year, man, it was one of the toughest defenses I went against in all my years of playing basketball. And they got the Coach Thomases, Coach Simon from Hightower, and Coach Linden from Austin. He's up and coming too.
Yeah.
Because he used to be at Bush also, and the defense they had on us at Bush and at Austin, everybody says it. Because George Ranch played Austin last year too, and my teammate Javon was like, "Man, that defense is one of the hardest defenses," and it just shows Coach Linden does a good job over there at Austin.
Yeah. Brody, I want to kind of transition back to football because you're at George Ranch.
Yes, sir.
Brody, I'm going to straight up ask you because this is what we do on the Easy Corner. I think this is what really kind of makes this show so unique.
Okay.
Brody, it's your senior year. I'm going to emphasize it because I'm going to look at the camera. It's your senior year because I think you know where I'm going with this. You've played quarterback. You're playing quarterback going into George Ranch.
Yes, sir.
We all know at Bush, football wasn't the talk of the city. Yeah. And in a day and age, I'm a realist. The quarterback gets that blame if they're not successful.
Yep.
You're in a new environment. I need to know, will you make the playoffs?
Will we make the playoffs?
Will you make it for the first time in your career? Because we know you've been a quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And we know when it's up to the table, we've seen it in the pros, we see it in college football.
Yes, sir.
We know quarterback play is the most important position in the country. Mm-hmm. Can we make the playoffs?
For sure.
Talk about it.
Yeah, just because I've been at summer conditioning and grinding with these guys at George Ranch, it's just been like you could just tell like it's a different feel because they have that championship pedigree, winning state championship in 2015. So it's just like, and I grew up with these guys, so it's just like they know me, I know them, so it's just like okay, we're gonna make the best out of this thing, and if that's the playoffs or if that's going deep in the playoffs, that's winning district, we're gonna do it.
Because there's a team that's down the street that I feel, because I'm going to eventually interview one of those guys that a play away from beating the Atascocita. I don't know what happened those last 3 downs. I don't know what plays was called. A team in Folser that had a pretty hell of a year.
Yeah,
obviously, that district,
yes, sir.
Folser is still probably the state favorite going into there.
Yeah.
You've played in big games. Obviously, Fort Bend in district, you're playing the High Towers, you're playing the Ridge Points, you're playing the Travises. You've played in big games.
Yeah.
So now that you're transitioning to almost a different style of play in the Lamar district, and I think you guys are with A-Leaf, the A-Leaf schools too, who always got good talent. A-Leaf schools always got good talent, but just kind of talk about that, because at the end of the day, like Brody. Like I said, it's your senior year.
Yeah.
We want to know, can we get it done?
Yeah, we're gonna get it done. And talking about Fulcer, they had a heck of a season last year, and I went to watch them play against Rich Point. They're scouting Rich Point and things like that, and they pound that football. They're gonna run it down your throat, and just they're gritty, but I think we have the guys to match it this year. I think we have the team to make a deep run in those playoffs and get it done, and we just got to continue to grind out this summer and just keep working, because like the work can't stop through, like off season work can't stop, and working through the season, practicing, giving our all, and just keep going.
What makes you not even what makes you so, why are you so underrated?
Man, you can only ask the upper guys that question. To be honest, I really don't know. I'm wondering the same. I'm wondering the same thing you're wondering, because it's like the stats don't lie, and so whenever the stats show that whenever in these big games I'm gonna show up, you gotta see it for yourself.
What are you most excited about for this football season? Because like I can't wait. Friday nights, you're gonna see me on the sideline with the cameras. At the end of the day, it's showtime. Me and producer Trey, my boy Trey Malva, we will be on the sidelines. Just talk about, obviously it's a level of excitement for you. You said now you're homecoming. Yeah. Now you're playing with guys that you're comfortable with. Now you're playing with guys that you grew up with. Does it hit different to know that, when I take the field on Thursdays, Fridays, or Saturdays, that this is my last shot?
Yeah, and there's just nothing like those Friday Night Lights.
It's not.
Nothing like that. Nothing like it.
It's not.
And it's that feeling before the game. It's just nothing that compared to it, because not before those basketball games, it's nothing that compares to the Friday Night Lights. And it's just whenever you're out there, it's fun. Like some of those guys that have made it and things like that, they just say you just gotta have fun with it. You can't just be in your head all 24/7 about it. Just play with like not necessarily play with no mind, but kind of play with no mind, because you just gotta just go do it. Don't be scared of the outcome or anything like that. Have confidence in yourself.
What kind of leader are you?
Man, I'm still growing in that aspect of the aspect of my like game and things like that. Yeah. But it's just like hearing it from my dad, because he played quarterback he was in my shoes too, and it's just like you just got to be like vocal, and if you think you're vocal enough, be even more vocal, and just be that presence for guys, because like I'm the quarterback, like I'm the general, you know. So it's just like be that presence for those guys, and just be that guy to step up to the plate, always step up to the plate, and being a super sport athlete, like I'm one of them one of them ones. So it's just like in the school, just being that vocal leader and on the field and on the court.
When you talk about high school, you could say, this is the beginning of your senior year as this part of your life and this part of your chapter is coming to to a close. What do you reflect on?
Man, just I just be in my room sometimes, think about like all the middle school days and little league days and freshman, sophomore, junior year, and just it was a blast, man. It was just the funnest. Those are the funnest days of your life.
Yeah.
Just because you're not thinking about nothing, you're just playing. Like you can just play. You don't have to think about college or nothing like that. So it's just like those Lamar Casella days were some of the best days with Coach Hamilton and guys like Noriel Dominguez and Ryan Mallory. Just those days were good. And
I didn't know that Dominguez went to Lamarcus Hall.
Yeah, he went to Lamarcus Hall.
I didn't even know that.
Moved right from.
I'm gonna get him on the show.
Yeah, you need to get him.
We know. Hey, listen, Randall's going back to back. Randall will go back to back. Yeah, so
he's a very intriguing guy, and yeah, he came in from Miami and just moved in from Lamar, and he even played basketball his 8th grade year. He was on that basketball team.
Jonathan did not tell me that. I did not know that. Hey, that's crazy. I gotta get him on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ryan Mallory, he just picked up an offer from Sam Houston State.
Okay.
Yeah, he's their starting linebacker, so he's one of the ones that football too.
Basketball, same question. Yeah. Obviously, you said you're at George Ranch now. I respect the George Ranch program, especially what they did a year ago, taking Shadow Creek to the limit. Yeah. Shout out that boy Caden. Great, hell of a season. One of the most underrated guards in 2025. But Brody, now you come in. Now you come in. Coach Henry, you, Javon Walker, Scipio, Elijah Rubin on that team. Like, this team looks like, as much as I'm not gonna sniff past anybody, but this team looks like it's made for February. For February. I'm going to say it in the camera again. It's made for February.
Yeah, for sure.
We know in this city the talent that's accumulated at George Ranch.
Yep.
Anything less in the playoffs is unacceptable. Because I'm going to say it, and I think you hold yourself to that standard.
For sure.
It's unacceptable because you know the talent that you guys got coming in, especially that three-headed monster I just named with you, Javon Walker, and Case and Scipio.
Yep.
And especially the success that they had last year in the playoffs. And I know they're looking to take it further because a lot of people could say, is this team this team can be better than last year's team. What do you say to that?
Man, I don't think anybody wants to see us in February, dog. Because naming me, Casey that came in from Fort Bend, Austin, winning first team all district. He's a heck of a player. Javon just picked up his second Division I offer. Elijah Rubin, Didi, Satar. Yeah, man. Anything less than that state championship is going to be a failure for sure. Just talking to Coach Henry about it, and Kaysen and me and Kaysen coming in, and we got to be those leaders. We're the seniors on the team. Me, Kaysen, Didi, and obviously Javon. But me, Kaysen, and Didi, just the seniors on the team. We got to lead that team because we know we can make it far in February.
You've had accolades. You've had, like I said, you've won a district MVP.
Yeah.
You've played in obviously you've played in big games. Yeah. But can you say, is this one of the best shots for you to win a state title?
Oh, for sure. This is, I could just feel it right now, man. It feels like this is the year for us to win. This is my year and me and Kaysen's year and just Georgia in general to win a state championship and bring it to that school. Because, last year we lost in the second round to C. King and they ended up losing to the K. Jordan in the next round. But it felt like last year, that was just like the start. Like, okay, now I know what the playoffs feel like. Now I know what the playoff energy feels like. So I got that experience under my belt, and obviously those guys over there at George Ranch, they got their experience last year going 3 rounds deep, and barely losing to Shadow Creek. So I just know now, okay, this is what playoffs feels like. So I'm ready this year.
What do you take away from the playoffs last year? Because, like you said, now you got your playoff experience. Obviously, losing to CE King at Pearland.
Yeah.
You know, shout out my boy Laborski. I
Yeah.
love that. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy Laborski for his career
Yeah.
to end like that. But knowing that you've tasted it, what goes through your mind when you walk off that floor?
Man, it was heartbreak for sure. Cause at that point, I knew that was my last game in the Bush jersey, and I remember I actually fouled out that game. Me and Grayson fouled out that game. One of our point guards fouled out that game, and it was heartbreak, man. Cause I knew that was my last game, and whenever that buzzer sounded off, it was like, dang, it's really my last game in the Bush jersey. I literally grew up like that was my home for like forever. So it's like, dang, it's really my last game here, and it was just like I went and hugged my dad, and it was like, dang, it's surreal.
So we talked about the basketball, the inspirations and everything. I want to kind of hit you with some fun stuff. Talk about your music taste. What are you into? What are we jamming before the games?
Before the games, it's really not even my choice. It's really like Borsey be on the aux, Ronaldo be on the aux, Grayson be on the aux. So it's just be like whatever they listen to, I'm a bump too. But if I have my headphones in, I'm really like a calm guy. So I really mess with the Drake, Lil Baby,
Yeah.
Gunna, Rilo, just guys like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Rilo, that's my man. People be sleeping on Rilo. Man. I love my boy Rilo.
V's.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you weren't playing basketball and football, tell me something that the average fan really doesn't know about you.
If I wasn't playing basketball or football, probably just coaching. Coaching probably.
You come from a coach.
Yeah,
You come from a coach. What about coaching intrigues you?
Just like seeing my dad do it, and it's just like he gives back his knowledge from the game to these kids, and I see how helpful it is to guys that he has coached. Like, for example, Emmanuel Agba, he plays for the Jaguars. He went to Bush.
Yeah.
And he still hits my dad up about like lessons in life and just things like that. Jamal Morris hits my dad up a lot. He just graduated from. He didn't just graduate. He just stopped playing at U of H football. Russell Kong, just guys like that. Just seeing how impactful he was on their life, and how they still like contact him about things and things like that. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. Have an impact on kids' life and stuff, things like that.
I'm a teacher, so I understand. So
Yeah.
I'm in the trenches every day. So like, it's a beautiful thing to watch young kids knowing that they want to evolve. Even the younger kids. Give me your favorite sports moment.
My favorite sports moment. I'd say. What's crazy is I have two. And
Drop
one of them is super crazy. So my 8th grade year,
Yeah.
the playoff game before the championship game, we was playing George Ranch.
Uh-huh.
And so we played George Ranch at Wright, the middle school for Randall.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because we beat them that game, I think by like maybe 2 points or maybe more. But it's like, dang, it's surreal because like I beat them in that playoff game, and I think I had like 30 or 35 points or something like that. And so it's like, dang, I beat them, and now I'm back here at my senior year. So it's like, it's crazy to think about. And my second is probably my junior year. I was sick right before the Clemens game. I think it was our first time playing Clemens. I was sick before the game. I went home that school day, and I felt miserable. And so I go home, I rest for a little bit. My body just feels miserable. And so it's around like time for us to leave to go to on the bus to the game.
Yeah.
And so I'm on the way to the game with my brother, and like we're like 2 minutes away from the school. We're about to pull into school, and I finished eating my chicken and rice, and I throw it up. So I was like, man, I don't think I could play, man. And so we like pull into the driveway, and I call Coach Gay, and I was like, I just threw up in the car. I'm not gonna be able to make it on the bus, but I'm gonna try to make it to the game. I'm gonna see how I feel. I'm gonna go home and rest for a little bit longer. And so I go home, rest for like 20, 30 minutes. Couldn't rest for that long. It's like 6 o'clock now, so I have to go. I'm on the way to the game. And I'm walking in the parking lot of Wheeler, talking to my brother and my mom, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to play. And I knew it was an important game because we was battling for third seed and fourth seed. And so my brother was just like, just warm up, to see how you feel. And so I come into Wheeler, and they already did their halftime warm up. So I'm like, and it's like third quarter of the JV game. So I go into the locker room, just gotta get ready, and I go out and warm up before the game, and I just felt everything felt like I felt good.
Yeah.
And so I played that game, and it was one of the best games of my high school career. I think I had like 24, 25 points, and we won that game. It was one of the best games of my high school career.
Was that your flu game?
That was my flu game, yeah.
The Brody flu game.
Yeah.
The Brody flu game. One thing I didn't touch on, and I want you to kind of say this in this camera.
Mm-hmm.
For recruitment purposes, what are college coaches getting? You can kind of expound for both sports, basketball and football. What kind of man are universities getting?
Just like bigger than football and bigger than basketball. I could just be that guy, just like as a man and as a teammate, as a player, as a guy you're coaching. It's just like I could be that guy for you, and to just like take that next step and be a leader for your team, or be a leader for your team and things like that. And I think I should be that guy, and for any university, because I have that confidence in myself to just do the things that anything y'all willing to ask me to do, I can do it. No excuses.
What's the importance of education? Because a lot of guys don't understand that you guys are gonna have to get it done, because this thing called athletics and sports can end. So just kind of just talk about the importance of the education piece as a student athlete.
Yeah, student athlete, student comes first in all things you do, whether it's on the field or because if you don't pass, you don't
play.
You don't no play. And so just taking that classroom serious, and you gotta take it serious, because you never know. Like, if a teacher doesn't like how you behaving in the class, you can email your coach super quick. So it's just like you gotta handle your business in that classroom before you do any of athletic purposes, anything athletic wise. And just that's gonna carry on to my college experience.
Top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Top 3. I gotta throw Patrick Mahomes in there.
Go ahead, 15.
Patrick Mahomes. Gotta throw in Josh Allen, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not really a big fan of him, but he's proven himself.
Okay.
And nah. Not Brock Purdy. I really mess with Jordan Love. A lot of guys don't see what I see in Jordan Love, but I think he's a really pretty good quarterback.
Lamar Jackson didn't make it?
He's top 5. I'll give him top 5.
Not top 3?
I'll give him top 5. He hasn't showed up in those big games for me yet.
Mark Andrews dropped the pass, not him.
That's like 2 years in a row he's lost to in those big games. So I don't know. He's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's probably in my top 5, but he probably I'll give him better than Jordan Love. But I just really mess with Jordan Love.
I got you.
Yeah.
2026 basketball. Mm-hmm. I love this question. This is one of my favorite questions to ask. Give me 4 2020-26 guys from the city that you would run with?
That I would run with. Obviously I'll take my Coos guys over anybody, but not naming any of those guys, I'd probably get Elijah Garrett from Beaumont Westbrook.
Oh, Elijah, we see you.
Yeah.
State champ.
Side note, we beat them in my junior year. We beat them. Bush beat them. I had 28 that game, but
He said 28 that game.
Elijah Garrett. I get Aziz.
Aziz Olajuwon, shout out top 100, big top 100 camp.
He's one of the best players I ever played against. I get Case and Scipio.
So that's three. So you know you got one more. Choose wisely.
Got one more. Either Christian Gibson or Jakai. I watched Jakai play at TABC, and he looked real impressive to me.
He did.
Yeah.
He's coming on the show tomorrow. He'll be on the show. He will be on the show. Yeah. He'll be on the show tomorrow. He'll be on the show. Talk about TABC, your experiences, and what do you get after games like that, knowing that, a lot of coaches, when I talk to them, like, easy, we don't win championships in June. Yeah. I said, I get that, but it's sure damn a test to see where you're at. So just talk about it, your experience at TABC.
It was just like a good experience for like the younger guys to get to see like, okay, yeah, this like we're gonna be playing real, like this, because we had some of the top games at TABC playing North Crowley, San Antonio Wagner, and Cibolo Steel, and there was coaches lined up on that sideline and on that baseline on all three of our games, and so it was just like, it was good for our experience, but it was even better to like for us new guys to like get camaraderie with our team and get experience with our team and just keep building on our what's upcoming for this next season.
Coach Henry, just talk about him and talk about his play style and what you like about him.
Coach Henry, I've always known Coach Henry because he's been around the city for a while now, and he's a great guy. Coming, I've known him like personally now for 2-3 months now, and he just seems like a great outgoing guy, and just being around him, he knows a lot of guys around the area and a lot of coaches around the area, and he has that respect around the area. Just talking to like some of my former coaches, saying I'm going to George, tell them I'm going to George Ranch, and they're like, okay, yeah, Coach Henry he's a good coach for you, and he's gonna get the best out of you. Just watching that team last year go 3 rounds deep in the playoffs and not expected to go 3 rounds deep. They're actually expected to lose that first round to Katy, but he got the best out of those guys. I think he did a very good job with those guys, and I just know my choice for coming to George Ranch, and I put it in his hand. I kind of just put it in his hands, like, okay, we got to go somewhere with this, and I think he's the right guy to do it.
Top 3 guys in the NBA.
Top 3 in the NBA. I'd say right now, SGA, Shai Gilgeous.
Congrats.
Yep. I throw in there. I still throw in there. Kevin Durant. That's my favorite player of all time.
Hey, Houston Rockets. I know you're going to the games now.
Yep.
I know you're going to the games now.
For sure, gonna be in attendance.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, SGA, and one more. I'm going blank. I like Ant, but I don't think he's just there yet. I like Ant. I like Halliburton, but he's not top 3 just yet. Jokic. That's what I'm forgetting. Jokic. Yeah, Jokic.
Okay.
Jokic different.
Okay. No. I got you. I don't know. I don't really want to get into this, but I'm going to get into it because I feel like, I don't know if you're religious, but like I would just say, give me your favorite Bible quote.
Isaiah 41:10.
Talk to me.
It's on my Letterman jacket. I think it just represents like the man I am, and just like it just shows like the strength and fearlessness I have as a person, and just I'm I'm very like if something doesn't work out, okay, God got me at the end of the day, and it's just like at the end of the day, you can't really worry about which was not for you. What's not for you is what's not for you. And I think at the end of the day, God has a plan for you, and He has a plan for everybody. You know.
Would you rather have a game-winning shot or a game-winning stop? No, matter of fact, I take that back because we're gonna switch that back. Game-winning shot or game-winning drive?
I think it's all perspective because
No. Okay. The drive, you need a touchdown. You don't need a field goal. You need a tutty. Basketball, I would say down one.
Okay. So I'd say for playing Fulcher, I want that game-winning drive, but nothing compares to that game-winning shot, man. People storming the court and things like that. But that's a hard question, because man, probably I say game-winning shot. Yeah.
I'm a basketball fan, but I would really think I would choose the game-winning drive because I just think sometimes game-winning drives are more memorable than game-winning shots.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen it, but game-winning drives, especially if you're going down like 75 yards and you need 6.
Yeah.
I think, and then like just the crowd.
Yeah.
Basketball's tough too. Basketball, never mind. The crowd's in basketball too, but I get it though.
Game-winning drive is for sure one of the moments like, okay, I'm really that guy now.
Yes. Especially if you need 6, not 3.
6, because I just led my team down the field for a game winner. That's tough for sure.
One of my last couple of questions. First of all, who is Brody Thornton?
Who is Brody Thornton?
Yes.
Man, I would say I'm just a very family-oriented guy. Outside of football and basketball, I think I really don't do much in life. I work out, I play football, I play basketball, eat, spend time with my family, and that's really much. I go out here and there, but I'm not really going out because it's just nothing out there for me, basically. And just spend time with my family a lot of the times if I'm not playing football or basketball. And just maybe sometimes I'm on a game, NCAA.
Yeah. You ready for that? You ready for that 26, right?
Oh, for sure.
Hey, shout out Austin Carlisle being the fastest quarterback in the game.
That.
Rich Point alum. So his 92. I said that's crazy. I was like, bro, Carlisle's really the fastest quarterback.
When I seen that, I was like, dang, okay. Because I just played against him. I'm like, dang, he's really the fastest quarterback. That's crazy.
Yeah, in the game. And my last question, obviously, this is the show, The Easy Corner. You know, I appreciate you really coming on, man.
Yeah,
First of all,
thank you.
Thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it. Obviously, it's actually 2 questions. My first question is your experience on Easy Corner. What did you think?
Man, it's a great podcast. I think everybody who's who he's asking to get on here should come on here. He got some pretty good questions for you. Just know that.
And that leads to my second question. The Easy Corner. You have to help me get him. Give me a guy that you would want to see on this show, and you have to help me get him. Yeah, it could be any sport too. It doesn't have to just be basketball. It could be any sport.
Let's see.
And if you have 2, you can name 2.
Since you already got Coach Gay, I'll probably get you to try to get on here is Coach Courtney.
Coach Courtney. We know we gonna make it happen. That's it. Ready in the works. He already told me that he'll do it.
And a player.
Yeah.
Let's see who's a player that should be on here. I think a good player to be on here to pick their mind is Aziz Olajuwon.
The Hall of Famer son, the Mr. Top 100 himself, top 100 first team, Aziz Olajuwon. Brody Thornton said, we need you on that easy corner. And I say it too. I need you on that easy corner.
Yes, sir.
This has been another episode of the Easy Corner, brought to you by 324 Sports. I forgot to tell you, man. Shout out my boy Bernard Greenwood, 324 Sports.
sir.
I gotta plug him in because this is the site that is going on 324 Sports. But this has been another episode of the Easy Corner. I'm here with the reigning district MVP, the quarterback of the newly formed George Ranch, point guard and small forward, combo guard or forward.
Yes,
recruit him, Mr. Brody Thornton, man. Appreciate you guys, man. See you next time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, dog. I appreciate it, dog, man. But honestly.